Imagine this. You walk into a movie theater trying to act casual, but your jacket is stuffed with candy like you're smuggling gold. Why? Because paying $10 for a small popcorn feels like financial sabotage. But why are movie snacks so insanely overpriced? Is there some secret gourmet ingredient we don't know about? Let's pop into the economics behind it. Where does your ticket money actually go? You think that when you pay $10 for a movie ticket, most of that goes to the theater, right? Well, not quite. In the first few weeks of a film's release, a huge chunk of that ticket revenue goes straight to the movie studios. On average, theaters keep only about 50% of your ticket price across a film's run. And keep in mind, bigger chains like AMC or Regal might strike better deals thanks to volume. But smaller independent theaters? They often even get a smaller cut, as little as only 20 to 30% of that ticket price. And so they must rely on a different revenue stream. Enter snacks. Popcorn, soda, and candy aren't just treats. They're essentially the business model. Take popcorn. A bag of kernels could cost less than $1, but at the concession stand, it's marked up over 1,200%. For some indie theaters, up to 80% of their total profit comes from snack sales, not tickets. So yes, your 50 cents worth of kernels turning into a $9 tub isn't a scam. In most cases, it's just survival. So those expensive snack prices are essentially holding up the entire theater. Theaters have a lot of fixed costs such as rent and maintenance, high-tech equipment, and utilities and insurance. Keep in mind, things such as projectors, 3D sound systems, they aren't cheap and they always need constant upkeep. Rents and wages are always increasing, so theaters always need a steady supply of money to keep those afloat. Additionally, theaters also pay licensing. So even after sharing ticket revenue, theaters also pay film rental fees, flat rates, or extra box office cuts. Finally, there's also overhead costs such as chains contributing to national marketing campaigns, plus other administrating costs. So the short version, everything is expensive and ticket sales alone won't cut it. So the next big question is, why can't theaters just ask for a bigger cut? It's a fair question. Why don't theaters just push for a bigger slice of the ticket revenue pie? Well, they've tried. But major studios, especially when it comes to blockbuster films, hold the upper hand. For big releases, the demand is so high that studios just can't control the terms. If a theater chain demands a higher cut, studios can threaten to delay or withhold big releases. Skipping on a blockbuster like The Avengers could be a brutal loss in revenue for theaters. Theaters also sign long-term contracts to guarantee revenue, but in exchange, they lock in the revenue splits, often starting at 60 to 40 or 70 to 30 in favor of the movie studios for opening weeks, and only shifting slightly in the theater's favor later across the period. Scale does matter, but it's not enough. Big chains like AMC secure marginally better splits thanks to guaranteed volume and more people visiting them. But even they rarely get above 50% in the first run. On the other hand, small independent theaters, they don't have enough power, so they essentially will take whatever they can get. Finally, there's a risk of streaming services. With streaming services being more popular than ever, studios have even more power. They can choose to have a movie released exclusively on streaming services, or very shortly after the theatrical release, which further lessens the negotiating power of theaters. In short, theaters are caught between the studio's muscle and rigid contract. Many people wonder why streaming hasn't lowered snack prices. With streaming booming and home theater setups getting comfier than ever, you'd think movie theaters would cut snack prices to tempt people to get back, right? But nope, prices are still high, and in some cases they're even increasing, so what gives? The short answer? Lowering snack prices wouldn't solve theaters' problems, it would actually make them worse. Theaters operate on pretty small margins as we just saw, and the rise of streaming has shrunk their audiences. Fewer people walking through the door means fewer people buying snacks, so instead of slashing prices, theaters have to maintain or even raise them just to stay afloat. Think of it this way, for cheaper snacks to work, theaters will need a lot more people buying them, but many moviegoers wouldn't be swayed by cheaper popcorn alone. If anything, they'll just stay at home and stream. And the people who do show up, well, they're unlikely to buy more snacks just because they're cheaper. On top of that, Theaters are battling with rising costs such as new technology, upgrades, maintenance, higher wages, and expensive real estate. So while that $10 ticket might seem like easy money, it's not nearly enough to cover anything. So how are movie theaters fighting back? Subscription services like AMC Stubs A-List and Regal Unlimited let you watch movies for a flat monthly fee. Think Netflix but for theaters. Theaters make steady, predictable revenue and hope to recoup through concession sales and premium formats such as 3D and IMAX. Similarly, they have loyalty and membership perks, point-based rewards on every concession purchase, free upgrades, and member-only screening. So essentially, members are rewarded more points for spending more money on snacks and other purchases. Another thing theaters have started to do is implement premium and VIP experiences. This includes things such as reserved seating, in-theater dining, cocktail bars, and luxury recliners. Some of these experience upgrades carry their own concession menus, which also have much higher profit margins than standard popcorn. Finally, special events like opera broadcasts, film festivals, or other special screenings attract niche audiences at a premium price. So putting it all together, movie studios take up 50 to 80% of ticket revenue, leaving theaters with slim margins. Concessions are real money makers, driving up to as much as 80% of profits in small theaters. So snack markups aren't greed, they're essentially the economics of theaters. To survive, theaters are leaning into subscriptions, VIP perks, and special events to boost revenue. So whenever you buy a snack, just realize you're helping cover the projector bulb that costs hundreds, the wages of the people tearing your ticket, and even the real estate under your seat. So what do you think the future of the movie theater looks like? Will streaming take over completely? Or is there still room for big screen experiences? If you found this video interesting, hit the like and subscribe button for more everyday economic mysteries.